Between the Indiana Fever and Kelsey Mitchell, the Indiana Fever will have Mitchell next season. The news that Kelsey Mitchell isn't leaving hit the WNBA like a shock. Teams with a lot of cap space were waiting in queue to sign her. But guess what? Indiana did something that couldn't be done. I'm sure you want to know how they did it. I know about the crazy turn of events that kept Kelsey in Indiana. You really shouldn't miss this, trust me. People talk about the WNBA all the time. Well, everyone went crazy over this one about Kelsey Mitchell. It all began with a simple birthday letter from the Fever's general manager, Amber Cox. This post is not what I mean. It doesn't matter if the Fever told you happy birthday. The GM said it would be a great year. Looks like a harmless thing, right? But when Cox said Mitchell would have a great year, fans went crazy. All of a sudden, everyone is sure Mitchell isn't leaving. Can you picture the chaos? It was like teams with cap space were hungry. It seemed like Mitchell was the key to winning the title. They saw him as the wings, the sky, or even the aces. Mitchell was being watched like she was the last piece of pizza at a party. Because really, who wouldn't want a star like her? She's also not going to join a losing team. Cap room is like wings that a team loses to the sky. Who are not a good match because she and Kennedy Carter will not get along. The Mystics, who are in a slump. The Atlanta Dream, her and Ryan Howard will not get along. The Mercury have the cap space to get her, but Diana Taurasi is staying. I don't know what will happen there, but Ka Copper and Diana Taurasi don't go well together. The Indiana Fever were the best team for her on the game. It turned out that the Fever had much bigger plans than anyone thought. And Mitchell, she is not only a part of those plans, she is the main part of them. Take a look. Caitlin Clark was just picked up by the Fever in the draft. As long as Mitchell stays put, they're not just a team. That looks like the start of a possible empire. They are going to build during the off-season around those three. It's been said that Kelsey Mitchell is, as far as the Indiana Fever are concerned, Kelsey Mitchell will be playing for them next season, and they can make her a deal. There's more though. That's not just Mitchell and Clark, says Fever coach Stephanie White. When she talks about building around a core, Aaliyah Boston is also included. Really? That's the same as having 3 huge stars on the same team. It seems like the Fever has won 3 times in a row. It's never happened before. I think Kelsey Mitchell has survived the storm of Indiana Fever basketball, and I thought she had the best year of her career working with those guys. You think about a core 3 when you think about teams, right? You think about the big 3, being able to work with those 3 players and continue to put pieces around them to fight for a championship in my home state. It couldn't have worked out better. So while everyone else was making plans for Mitchell to leave, the Fever were working behind the scenes on something special. They kept more than just their star. They were putting together a huge star field around her. Mitchell, she's not leaving. She's not going anywhere. She's ready to lead this new look Heat team into what could be the most exciting time in WNBA history. That she's going to leave is something I really doubt. If you want to know the exact number, I believe there is a 1% chance that she will leave. This could make you wonder what this means for the rest of the league. The WNBA's power structure may be changing because of a birthday message that wasn't really a shock. After all, it was just the start of something much bigger. In a sense, it's a team choice. Having the ability to be cored means you have a team choice. So they can choose to work together to get her, which they'll probably do. Let's play a game of what if while everyone is talking about Mitchell staying put. What if the birthday message was a farewell instead of a hello? Anything is possible in the crazy world of the WNBA, so let's break down the 1 in 100 chance that had GMs all over the league holding their breath. For starters, let's look at which teams could have afforded Mitchell. We are talking about places with a lot of money and a lot of attention. The Dallas Wings were definitely in the running, and since Satu Sabali might be moving, they had a lot of cap space to make a move for her. Trade between 3 teams. And then there's the Sky of Chicago. The team has enough money to pay Mitchell, but would he have been a good fit for their team? It's like trying to put together a very difficult $1 million puzzle. Don't forget about the Las Vegas Aces either. Think about what would happen if they got creative with their lineup. Imagine that Kelsey Plum leaves and Kelsey Mitchell walks in. It's kind of like a Kelsey swap meet. But let's be honest, that's about as likely to happen as finding a horse in your garden. The Aces. If the Aces lose Kelsey Plum, they still have cap room. That's the only thing that could happen if she wants to leave Indiana. There is also a deal where Kelsey Plum is traded for Kelsey Mitchell. I don't think either team will do that. I don't think either player wants to switch spots. That's not something either team is likely to do. Now things get really interesting. Mitchel isn't just any player. She is like a star in Indiana. Take a look. She lives and trains in Indiana. She is what the brand is known for. Things like that are hard to leave behind. That makes you wonder what Mitchel would have to do to leave all that behind. It's not just about the cash. Being paid a lot is nice, but there's more to it than that. We are talking about giving up everything that is known and comfortable. It's the same as telling LeBron to leave Ohio. Oh, that was a bad example. Fever the best thing to wear on the game. But really, Mitchel has a strong link to Indiana. It's where she got her start and where she became famous. Leaving that behind is like leaving a piece of yourself behind. Also, don't forget the stress of becoming the new face of another brand. That's not just a new outfit, it's a whole new set of dreams. Goodbye. How close did Kelsey Mitchell get to leaving the Fever? You might be surprised by the answer. It turns out they weren't even close. All of that guesswork. It was like a crazy game of telephone. A whisper turns into a roar, and all of a sudden everyone is sure Mitchel is leaving. Mitchel has strong ties to Indiana. The Fever is more than just her team, it's her home. Plus, Caitlin Clark was just picked in the draft. All I can say is that Indiana's future looks brighter than a star. I feel like I'm a part of history, so screw it. It's clear that this is good for women's basketball. This kid and I are playing together, which makes things a little more exciting and like everyone is coming to see this person. We do what we can. We accept it. That's something that I think our group can use. What does this tell us about what WNBA stars really care about? It's not just about having the most money or the best lights. It has to do with dedication, comfort, and the chance to make something unique. Mitchel has more than just a Fever. She is stepping up her plans to create a family. We can't wait until next year. Stephanie White talked about how they're building around Kelsey Mitchell, Kate McClark, and Leah Boston last week or 2 weeks ago. While other teams may have wished Mitchel would play for them, she was busy planning her next move where she always has been. Remember that in the WNBA, heart can win out over talk sometimes. For Mitchel with the Fever, this is just the start of a story that could be very interesting. Now that you think you know what will happen with Mitchel's Fever, there's a story twist that could make everything different. Remember how we said that heart beats hype? But what if too much talk turns out to be a problem? Let's talk about the one thing that might make Mitchel change her mind about her relationship with Indiana. With Caitlin Clark joining the team, the attention on them is about to get really strong. That's the amount of brightness of a supernova, and that's where things could get tricky for Mitchel. Now she has to share the stage with one of the most talked about players in WNBA history. In Indiana, she was the star of the show. She will only want to leave if she can't handle the attention. She also had to say that she doesn't agree with the online trolls, which was pretty clear. But think about it, Clark is coming in hot. In her last college season, she averaged 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 8.6 assists. Really, really good. That's so good it could break the internet. And you know what that kind of skill gets you? Videos? A bunch of cams. Suddenly, every Fever game will be a big deal in the news. Mitchel isn't weak, she can compete with anyone, but can she take all the attention? The never-ending questions about how she and Clark interact for an all-star, having to perform every night in front of everyone in the basketball world help them. Once more, there's not. That's the only time I'm like. She might be able to go. She might look at something and decide, okay, I'll just go be my ISO self. It's possible that she didn't like the play without the ball. That's the only thing that comes to mind. But once more, she made sure to include an essay about how much she loved having Caitlin Clark on her team and how she hoped the team would help her get through the season. It's no longer just about playing baseball now, it's also about dealing with the noise, the pressure, and the close attention. Some people do really well there while others don't do as well. What's the big question for Mitchel? Can she accept the chaos and use it to help her game? Or will the attention be too much for her? Hey Kelsey, it's not just big news that Mitchel is still sick with a fever. The WNBA will never be the same again. People in this league seem to be able to switch teams at will, but Mitchel is stuck with one. People all over the league are shocked by that act of loyalty. What was the vibe of the crowd like out there? It seemed like there wasn't really a home team at times because everyone was good. Squared is cute and I think she does a great job of. In particular, I think Caitlyn is a well-known name. And I think she'll continue to bring people to the venue and make it possible for us to have all the fans in the world. Of course, I admire her, but I also give her a break because she has a lot on her plate. I believe she is doing a great job. Now though, things really get interesting. Mitchell and Clark play for the same team. That is more than just good basketball, that's TV you have to see. These are two of the most exciting players in the game. And they play together every night. The highlights we're about to see are insane. There was defense on one end, and Leah Boston came over to help. Then there was a beautiful fast break with no dribbles, just passes 1-2, and a finish. It's possible to wonder what this means for the rest of the WNBA. Things are going to change soon, I promise. The Fever aren't just building a team, they're building a powerhouse that could rule the league for years. The other teams are struggling to keep up. Now for the important question, are you ready for what's next? Why? Because this isn't just about one player sticking put, the WNBA is changing right in front of our eyes. And believe me, these tremors are just the start. The real shock is still at the way.